For this video, we are going to learn a new type of conversion, and that is using the balanced chemical equation to convert from one compound to another. So no longer are we just converting from grams of one compound to moles of that same compound. We could go from grams of one compound to grams of another compound. And of course, there's some steps in between. So to start out with, I want you to pause the video and balance this equation. Now, you should have gotten 2 sodium phosphates plus 3 calcium chlorides plus 1 calcium phosphate plus 6 sodium chlorides. Now that we've done that, I want us to try and convert from grams of our 2 reactants to grams of our one product, sodium chloride. So to do that, let's start out with 3.50 grams of sodium phosphate. If I want to get from grams all the way over here to grams, I need to go through our fun unit of moles. So in order to do that, let's just let our units be the guide. If we've got grams of sodium phosphate, how we get there is we want to go from grams to moles of sodium phosphate. Once you have moles of one compound, you can do our new conversion factor, which is a molar ratio, using that balanced chemical equation. So we want to somehow go from moles of sodium phosphate to moles of sodium chloride. And we'll find out how to do that in a second. We're just looking at our units. Next, if we want to go from moles to grams, we once again use moles of sodium chloride, grams of sodium chloride. And if we do this, we will have gone from grams to moles of a new compound, to grams of our new compound. And so now it's a matter of simply putting in our numbers and then doing the math. So in this case, grams to moles, that should be cute. When you see grams and moles, remember that's your mole. When you see grams to moles, that should remind you that this is the molar mass conversion factor. So your average molecular weight goes here, and 1 mole goes on top. And so if you want to, stop the video, pause it, and look up this molar mass. And by look up molar mass, I mean calculate it. So 163.9 grams per 1 mole. Now what about over here? It's the same type of conversion factor, right? You have grams per mole, which is the molecular mass. So here we've got, in 1 mole of sodium chloride, you can calculate the molecular weight. 58.44 grams of sodium chloride and 1 mole of sodium chloride. So what about this then? What's going on here? This is our new conversion factor. And what it says is to go from here to here, we need to be able to use our coefficients to establish a molar ratio, meaning any 2 molecules of sodium phosphate could be converted into 6 moles of sodium chloride, as long as you have enough of our calcium chloride. So this will be considered excess. If this is an excess, and we have plenty of it to react with, then that means our chlorines and our sodiums combined in a ratio that'll make it so 2 of the original reactants yield 6 of our products. So this is our molar ratio, and that's what goes in here. So our 2 goes next to our sodium phosphate, and our 6 comes here to our sodium chloride. All right, and this is our new conversion factor. All right, now you just type in your calculator, and we end up getting 3.74 grams of sodium chloride. I want us to practice the other one as well. So let's practice moving from calcium chloride to sodium chloride. Do the same type of thing, but for this new molecule. So instead of having the molar mass here of sodium phosphate, you're going to have the molar mass of calcium chloride. And your molar ratio is going to be different. It's not 6 to 2. Try and figure out what the new ratio is. So let's start out with 3.50 grams of calcium chloride. I would convert it the same way we just did, 3 conversion factors, set them up, do those units first, grams of calcium chloride, moles of calcium chloride, moles of calcium chloride, converting to moles of sodium chloride, and then you've got moles of sodium chloride, which we are converting to grams of sodium chloride. And now you just stick in your numbers. And so we already found the molar mass of sodium chloride per 1 mole. Our molar ratio, right? We know 6 goes with sodium chloride. And then calcium chloride is now a 3. And then here, 1 mole of calcium chloride. This is the molar mass of calcium chloride, so you'd have to calculate that. And we calculated it to be 110.98. And by we, I mean I plus you listening in. We've all done this, all right? And now you can calculate it, and we find that that equals 3.67 grams of sodium chloride. Sorry for kind of running out of room on the board. All right, but this is a basic way to utilize this new conversion factor when we go from grams of a reactant to grams of a product. Now, I, of course, could stop at any moment and be like, I want molecules, I want moles, you know, whatever. But most commonly, you're going to see grams to gram conversion. So this is a very important step and a very important principle to understand in chemistry.